This is the Milo Beasley Show. This is the Milo Beasley Show. There's only one thing you need to know. This is the Milo Beasley Show. And now, here's your host, Milo Beasley.
And welcome to a brand new episode of the Milo Beasley Show. Let me try that again. And welcome to the Milo Beasley Show. I'm a little bit thrown off as we're actually doing a twofer this week. We have our episode with Dave Thomas. Man, if you haven't already checked out that interview, please go check it out now. It's even on the podcast form. But this week we're doing a twofer. We have 2 episodes this week. So please help me welcome at this time, Nina Bergman. How are you?
Hi, I'm great. Long time no see.
I know. Yeah, we just we hung out. What was that? I don't even know. It's
North Carolina.
Yeah,
right?
in North Carolina. When was it? That was there we are.
Yeah, there we are.
There we are, hanging out with Carlos Ferro and Roger Craig Smith. That was a lot of fun.
That was a lot of fun. Those guys are fun.
Yeah. A lot of laughs to be had. I think that was that in August?
But, yes, I'm not so good with dates. You know, I'm one of those people. I have no sense of time and date.
Yeah, I know you're like super busy.
It's been busy. It's been good.
You're super busy. You're work. You're working on a project now we can't talk about, but actually we should say you're probably working on multiple projects now because you're busy. And when you're not, you're hanging out with Deborah Fisher and Heather Graham over in like Europe, just doing
Well, we're still working. We're always cooking up something. I'm just not gonna say what. I cannot not work.
Oh, okay. All right.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, we wanted to have you on so we could talk about Hell Hath No Fury, your new flick that's coming out tomorrow, November 5th, and streaming on Tuesday, November 9th.
Yes.
So yeah, let's talk about this flick a little bit. So this is the one you actually shaved your hair for, right?
Yeah, they shaved my head in the movie. That was one of the requirements for this part, because I play a resistant fighter who get caught and goes to Ravensbrück concentration camp. And yes, it was part of the process.
So did you shave your head prior to the movie, or did they actually film the shaving of the head?
Oh, no, they filmed shaving the head. It's in the movie. That it was very common back then. They had these women, resistant fighters, that would date the SS officers to gather information. They were unsung heroes. And then if any of the women got caught doing anything with Nazis, they would have to do the walk of shame, where they stripped them of their clothes, in a square back then. They did it all in public, shave them, and then a lot of times they would draw the Nazi sign on their forehead, so they were, doomed for life.
Right. Wow.
So yeah, it's a true, based on true stories. So
did you kind of freak out a little bit when they were shaving your head, or were you like, this is okay?
Well, I'm a method actor all the way, so I was so in it. I mean, that was like the last of my concerns when we were filming it. I've been doing research and learning about concentration camps and reading these women's stories, and been losing weight and crying myself to sleep every night. And you know what I mean? So by the time it came to the shaving part, it was like, it was part of the process. So yeah, I mean, it was weird a couple of times where I had to leave the premise. I lived kind of on set, like in a house right next to the set. So I was living in a bubble, and there was a couple of times where I had to go to the store, and I had like patches, because back then they didn't have like razors, like the nice razors we have. They had these clippers that would like rip the hair, and that's what I wanted. So I had like those patches that looked like, it did not look good. And I'll go to the store and everyone would like look at me, and the cashier would be like, "I'm so sorry." I'm like, I'm just gonna leave it at that. Yeah.
But that's like a one take thing. You can't like be like, oh, okay, well, we messed up, let's go do it again. Like that's a one take thing.
That's a one. Yeah, so I want her. Yes. Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, so you get to be, a badass. It's kind of your thing. You get to be a badass in this movie.
Yes, she's definitely a badass, but she's a little different from me because she's not physical. She was a victim of her circumstances,
Right.
surrounded by soldiers and SS officers and concentration camps. And, so she didn't have her strength, but she had this. She's like the quiet one in the corner.
Huh.
I'm the one that's like, da, 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 like the idiot out there in the front. And she's like the quiet one in the corner plotting everything. Yeah, so I learned a lot from her. She's
Yeah.
very
So I was gonna say you said you're a method actor. You were doing your research even while on the set. Is there something that you learned while being on set that, like, while you were doing your research, while reading, that absolutely blew your mind that you had no clue about? This whole the story.
Yeah, I did not know. I have heard about these women in Holland called the redheaded girl. I read about that story where they would drive on the bicycles and they would seduce the Nazis and they'll go in the park and shoot them. And but I didn't know how common it was. And then I got caught, and I was in Ravensbrück for 3 years, so I did a lot of research what it was like to be in Ravensbrück, and I had no idea really what was happening behind closed doors. I knew it
Right.
was really fucked up, but I didn't know how messed up it was. And now I know, like, it's very hard to get information on it because the women that survived, they don't want to talk about it.
Right.
It was so excruciatingly insane what was happening that I don't think you can process it as a human being, no matter how much therapy you go to and do whatever. So you just kind of have to just bury it and move on with your life. So it's very hard to actually find research and the letters and stuff. There's not that much of it out there.
Right. No, that's very interesting. You hear about it, like a once of story. Oh, this person, did this, and then, but I didn't realize how prevalent it was. Like you were saying, now maybe that's a flick that needs to be, created out there about them.
But that's what this movie is about. It's her story.
Okay. So so that's what it is. Her story.
Yeah,
Okay.
it is her story. French resistant fighter, and what it was like. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Her parents get killed by an SS officer, and then she is sent to gather information from him and pretend to be in love with him, and he killed her parents. But then she falls in love with him. Or does she?
Or does she? That's so where did you film? Where was this filmed at?
In Belarus and a little bit in Santa Clarita.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Never been out that way before. So how is it out that? I mean, how was filming in Belarus?
Well, it's Eastern Europe. I'm
Right.
half Russian, so I'm used to the culture, the people, the food, the whole nine. So yeah, it was and as I said, with that particular part, I saw my trailer, my room, my co-stars, the sets, and that was about it. With that kind of part, you can't. I mean, you can't do all that research and go to set, and then you have a day off and then go sightseeing.
Right.
I would cry myself to sleep every day shooting this part.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, and as you said, it is Eastern Europe, so
yeah. And then what do you see? You go out and you see trees and forests and
right.
I saw my beautiful cemetery I was shooting at. I was shooting there a lot.
Oh, you shot in a oh, okay.
So I hung out at a cemetery.
Did you make any new friends in the cemetery?
Yeah, a lot of imaginary friends.
A lot of imaginary. Now, are you a believer in ghosts and spirits?
I believe in spirits, but I don't believe in ghosts.
Okay. I don't know. I don't know if I
believe in, like, Ghostbusters. Woo!
Right.
But I feel spirits. I truly do. I know that there's something bigger than us, but I don't know what it is. Yeah, I feel, I can feel people's spirits, but not. I don't believe in like a ghost, a green slobber that comes and attacks.
Right, but somebody whose, I guess, whose spirit may be left, who walked the earth, and now their spirit kind of just hangs out, in maybe a purgatory. Is that what you? Is that what you?
Yeah, I do believe in that. I do believe we choose our parents, and we're all just spirits, and this is just our vessel. I do believe in that. Next time I'm gonna come back as a frog. And then you have to kiss me.
Yes, and well, so hold on. So it would be the opposite. So
because it's a unisex right now world we live in.
Right.
So, yeah. So it's not like.
Right.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
No, right. I mean, yeah, I get it. The story is usually the girl kisses the boy frog,
Yeah,
and then
but you can kiss the frog, and then it turns into me.
Well, you're gonna have a lot of people out there kissing frogs trying to find you. So, I mean, obviously, besides acting, you're a rock star, stunt woman, boxer. Like, what haven't you done? What that you would like to do?
Ooh, there's so many things.
So are you an adrenaline junkie? Do you have you done skydiving?
Hardcore adrenaline junkie. If I had like more lives, I would be a martial artist, perfect that. I love anything with speed. I think race car driver, motorcycle, on the track, perfect that.
So have you done skydiving?
Oh yeah. I do that a lot.
No, a lot? No, I've never been. No, I'm scared of heights.
Milo, face your fears.
My legitimate fear, ever since I can remember, I have always felt that my death will be caused by falling off a very high place.
Well, I think you need to keep putting that energy out there, and you need to, when you hold a thought for 17 seconds to become a vibration, that's a fact. So I think you just need to keep thinking that, and eventually you're going to manifest it. You're not allowed to think like that. You're a dad now. You have to think, I'm strong. I'm doing great. I'm not gonna.
Stay away from high buildings and railings. That's what I think. In cliffs, and no skydiving. Stay away from all that stuff.
I think it's more dangerous to jump on a plane or get in a car. Actually,
it's very dangerous to get in a car.
Yeah,
especially you're LA, right?
LA 405. Yeah, try that one.
Yeah. Between LA, I mean, I've done LA, I've done Orlando. The only difference, so obviously LA has more traffic, but Orlando people are insane.
I would agree to that.
They are just they drive like it's race cars.
I don't know about the driving, but I know about when I do shows there, and they go bananas. They're the best crowd because they're like.
So there was a study done
what is that?
In Florida. It was found that Florida has the most aggressive people, and I think it's because of the heat.
Oh.
Because it's so hot that the heat just makes you so mad, and so you have to get that out.
But I think Arizona is hotter, no?
I've been to both, and I've heard the cliche, it's a different type of heat, and honestly, it is. And when you're in Arizona, it is hotter, but it's a drier. You're not sweating, which is also a problem because if you're out there and you're getting hot, you have to stay hydrated because you don't know that you are getting dehydrated because you're not sweating. I've been out there and seen people just pass out walking.
Yeah. No, we did a lot of shows in the summer, and Orlando and Florida, and that's what happened to one of my guitar players, and for me, I loved it. I was shredded. It's the best shape I've ever been in, not because it was shredded, just because I was constantly sweating.
When are you gonna get back out on the road with the band?
I don't think You know, I did a movie called Seize the Night that's coming out where I play a goth singer, and I did all the music for that. I have a comic book coming out called Freya in the beginning of next year, where I play Freya, and the movie is narrated by music. Yeah, it's a very interesting comic book, a new concept. Yeah, so I am narrated the whole movie with music. I wrote all the music. So it's like I'm constantly doing music, you know. I am today and tomorrow I'm shooting a new video game, and it looks like I might be doing the music for that as well. So I'm like always doing music, and I want to do one-off shows. But the touring and gone for 6 months, you know, festivals. I want to do festivals. I want to do like one-offs, but 6 months on the road, I just I can't.
Well, we need to get your band to do like the VIP parties at GalaxyCon.
I know that's the plan.
I have zero pull at GalaxyCon, so I know.
I know. We need to talk about it, but it's not, you know, with COVID and everything, we're not ready yet. I think in a bit, then we'll be ready.
Right. But so you had put out your last record, last EP was what, Resurrection, right?
Yes.
And I bought that on the iTunes.
Ah.
Yeah, I listen to Still Alive like all the time. All the time. It's one of my favorite songs. It's one of my top played songs it's one of my top played songs on my iPod. I absolutely love it. So
thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah.
If you guys haven't picked it up, and it's just an EP, so it's not like it's a $15, record on the iTunes, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's a good one. When I got out of my record, when I got out of my record deal with Warner Brothers, that's the one that I popped out. Yeah.
Yeah. So again, I highly recommend pick it up. I think it's what is it? Six tracks?
I think so. Five.
I should have looked it up right before.
I know.
I can look it on my phone.
It's my record, huh?
I'm doing bad research here. I got pictures. I got pictures. That's all I'm good for.
Yeah.
So what came first, acting or the singing?
Oh, it came together. I mean, I was always a performer. I was one of those kids, like if I couldn't perform, I have pictures of me as a tiny girl where I'm dancing on the street in like a little tutu and a ghetto blaster. And my dad was filming it with my girlfriend, and I choreographed this experimental dancing. And, we would make like 400 or 500 crowns, which is almost $100, for like little 6-7 year olds. That's a lot of money.
Right. That's a lot of money.
Yeah. I just needed to perform. I just need to express. Otherwise I'm going to explode.
I hear that. I was never good at the music. So either singing or playing. So you have me on both of those. Do you enjoy one or the other more, either singing or acting?
Well, when I do passion projects in acting and parts that I love and that inspires me, there's like nothing better. But the feeling of standing on stage and people singing back your lyrics, having them tattooed on your body, is the most incredible feeling too. But with music, I always feel like I'm playing the same character. I do like one style of music, and if I vary it too much, the fans are like, you know what I mean? They don't like. I like a lot of different music, but I tend to be doing the harder stuff, and I kind of have to stick with that when I, go on tour and stuff. So I feel like kind of it's limited. Where with acting, I finished the World War II movie, the one Hell Hath No Fury, and then I just did a comedy called Don't Try This at Home, and then now I'm doing the video game, and then it's like there's more variety, and I feel more utilized, where with the music it's like one part of myself. Does that make sense?
No, that makes a perfect sense. So you're talking about like the things that you enjoy. So what's the most played song or like band on your iPod?
Oh, but that, I go through phases. I'm one of those that like one song and then I have it on repeat,
Right.
like
Oh,
all
so
day
what's
long. And
so
anyone.
what's the kicker right now? What are you listening to right now?
It's a little poppy, so I can't. I can't. It's a little embarrassing. But you know who I dug up again? It's Bob Moses. Do you know Bob Moses?
I've heard the name.
Alternative rock, and they're just so good, and they're so underrated. And I'm like, what the hell? They're so good, you know. Like Bob Moses. So I've been obsessing about them, and then I've been listening to The Weeknd. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know why. I just needed some weekend in me.
I get it. They just did the Super Bowl last year. Now, and then speaking of sports, you played the World Series. Like you performed at the World Series. How did that come about?
They contacted me because they wanted me to do like all the college football, and then they said the majority of people who watch sports are male from 40 to 60.
That's me.
And they were like, we need some female younger blood who's angry.
Who's angry? All right.
Who's angry. So then I did a lot of the Fox Sports, all the college football, and
right.
Then they asked me, they're like, hey, we have a spot available for halftime. Do you want to do it? And I was like, hello. Yes. So I did. And then I didn't have a song that was right. So I remember writing one last minute. Like it was like one of those, up all night, writing it.
Right.
Performing it the next day, live there on their stage, and, just wrote the lyrics. And I'm like, what the hell am I singing again? You know what I mean? It was one of those very surreal experiences. And at the time I had no idea what a profound experience it was. And they wanted me to have me on the best damn sports show. And I was like, I just didn't know anything. I just, I know boxing.
Right.
And that's about it. Like, I don't really know. I know a little bit of MMA, but I'm not, I grew up in a different culture. So we have soccer, but we don't have baseball, football.
Right.
Like, I just don't know the rules. So I sit there, with baseball, and then I'm about to fall asleep. And then I go to the bathroom and I come back, and then it's over. And then I sit there again and wait and wait and wait. You know what I mean? It's like when you don't know what's happening, it's a little,
Nope.
it's a little
I got you. No, I got you. And we never got to talk about, and I kept wanting to talk about this, and ever since you brought it up, when we talked the first time, but you opening for Meatloaf.
Oh.
I mean, like, he is a rock god. How was it? So when you got done watching, doing your set, your set, did you get a chance to watch from the side of the stage or behind, and watch Meatloaf perform, or were you all packing up and getting your stuff ready for the next city?
We were out with him for 3 months, so there's plenty of time to see him perform. And no, he is, I just told this story on another show where, I was broke at that time, and it was like one of my first bigger tours, and he does casinos, like 35 to 5,000 seaters casinos where you sit down. I'm not used to sit down crowds.
Right.
And then it was Halloween, and I was broke and I had no money. So I went to Walmart and bought the cheapest costumes I could find for Halloween. And I got nurse outfits, sexy nurse outfits. So I was like, we're all going to be like sexy nurses, have fun, right? And I got like the boys like little red booty shorts. So when the people that sit down in the front and they look up, they're protected.
Right.
And we standing there in the wing, and the venue, the managers, everyone came, and they're like, yeah, you can't go out on stage with 3 guys and you. So 4 sexy nurses, we're not going to allow that in a casino. Yeah. So they wouldn't let us perform if we were going to wear that. And then Meatloaf was like, you know what? It's my show. It's my tour. Let them do whatever they want to do. And I was like, go Meatloaf. Go.
That's awesome.
He's a badass. he's fearless. And as I said before, like, I would watch him record his shows every single night. He record his shows and he listens back every night.
Oh, wow.
To make it better. And he has like a bus where he has his workout equipment, a bus with all of his wardrobe changes. And I mean, he takes it more seriously than anyone. Every night is like, he gives it his all, so I mean, the bar is up here with him. People can say whatever they want about him, but the guy is a pro.
It's a show. I've seen him about 5 times, I think, and it is an apps. Yeah, I mean, one of my all-time favorites, and it is a show. Again, you say people say, oh, he's corny, whatever, this, that, the other.
Yeah, I mean, what this isn't, you know what I mean?
Right, but it's an absolute show, and I love it. I love Meatloaf.
He gives people, like, I'm always like, okay, if I pay $40, I want something more than just 4 guys up there singing. And that's what he does. He puts on a show. So even if you don't like his music, he puts on an entertaining show.
100%. And I've gone to a lot of concerts like that where I'm like, oh, okay, well, whatever. But then I've gone to some concerts like Britney Spears. When you go to a Britney Spears concert, you know what you're getting into. She's going to lip sync and there's going to be dancing and she's not really singing, but it's a show. And I 100% love it. I think I've seen
Milo, you're a little cheesy.
I'm super cheesy. I am the king of cheese. If the cheesier, the better when it comes to me. 100%.
Well, I was a fan of Madonna. The same thing. Michael Jackson, in Europe, all the icons,
Yes, absolutely.
That's shows, so I'm all for it.
Right. Again, I was never able to play. So seeing people go all, again, singing is tough as it is.
Yeah.
Playing music is tough as it is. Dancing is tough as it is. Doing all 3 together and making a show out of it is incredibly tough. So all the respect. Again, Meatloaf has all the respect.
Yeah.
So you ready to play a little game here? A little game with me?
Okay.
All right. A little game. This is something I like to call the Milo Beasley Show frequently asked questions. These are the same questions that I ask every single one of my guests. They can be a little bit embarrassing. They might be a little bit embarrassing. There's no wrong answer. So it's going to be the first thing that comes to your mind. All right?
Okay.
All right. Question number 1. Who is your first celebrity crush?
Michael Hutchins.
Okay. Michael Hutchins.
I thought he was hot, and then when he's saying, I need you tonight, I was like, ah! And I was way too young to think like that. But, my brothers were into him, and I was like, I thought it was the hottest thing. And it was the first concert I ever went to. And I was
that's awesome.
looking at me the whole time, 10-year-old me. He was definitely looking at me the whole time.
Of course he was. And don't let anybody tell you anything else. Now, did you ever get a chance to meet him?
No, because he died.
Right, but I didn't know if before he died you got a chance. Oh.
Probably better.
Maybe. All right. Yeah. Question number 2. This goes back to something we were talking about a little bit earlier. What is your guilty pleasure song? What song do you love to listen to? You will turn it up and listen to it no matter who's around. You'll turn it up, you'll sing, you'll dance.
I just did it yesterday to get in the mood for something. And I don't know what it is, but I just love Sorry with Justin Bieber. It makes me so happy. It's like, it's just a very happy song. And It's just it makes me very happy, you know.
But I don't. Yeah, I mean, if it
Say
that's
it.
that's the thing about these guilty pleasures. If it makes you happy, who cares?
Yeah,
It's about you.
exactly. And Max Martin, this Swedish songwriter, wrote it. And this guy writes like all of my favorite songs, you know, for the weekend. All of my favorite songs. He writes cheese, but he's the best. Like I like good cheese, vegan cheese.
Oh man, this next question. Oh man, maybe you're not the person to ask.
Uh-oh.
I know you're a huge animal activist, so just
No, don't do this to me.
pretend for 1 second.
Okay.
If you were being attacked,
Uh-huh.
would you rather fight one giant duck or 100 tiny horses? What do you think? What
What
What do you?
kind of question is that? Like a duck, as you in a duck costume?
No, like a giant, like a horse-sized duck, like a giant duck, or 100 little bitty horses. What do you think you could? What if you had to fight one?
Well,
What do you?
I'll go one-on-one with a giant duck.
What I want the giant duck?
Yeah. Yeah. I would feed it some, I don't know, what do they eat?
Well, if you're not careful.
Yeah. I would take the duck because
All
it's one giant, you know.
I feel you on that because 100 of anything is like even like 100 ants.
Yeah,
Like,
but I would make friends with the duck. I'm very good. You sweet.
Question number 4.
Yeah.
What is your favorite movie quote?
Wow. I just did. I talked about my favorite movie, the one that had most influence on me, and I think the thing that had the most profound effect on me was in Thelma and Louise. That movie changed my life. That's why I came to America and I got offered with my first big check. And when they sit in the car and Louise is like, "Just go, don't stop, just go," and she's like looking at me. She's like, "Go," and I'm like, you know, because and that. To me, I carried with me my whole life. I was like, just don't stop, Nina. Because I've had a lot of obstacles in my life, you know.
Right.
And, you know, coming here when I was so young and all this stuff and in my business and, you know, and I'm always like, just go, Nina. Just go, you know.
No, that's good. I mean, that's perfect. I mean, when you talk about, you know, movies or scenes or things that, again, affect you from early on till that you carry with you, that's a great scene. And that's something great to carry with you. A great motto, you know, just go.
Yeah.
All right. Question number 5.
Uh-huh.
If blank was an Olympic sport, I would win a gold medal.
No one can beat me in air hockey. I am
air hockey.
Air hockey queen. Is that a sport? No.
I will tell you. Okay.
I can be. I have this. I turn into a monster when it comes to air hockey. I am like the shit.
All right. Wherever we are at, if it's in Raleigh, if it's another city somewhere for another convention, whether it's GalaxyCon or someplace else, we will find an after hours arcade. And we will throw down the gauntlet. We'll pick like a couple different games to have like a world champion.
Okay, but air hockey is mine. I can beat anyone.
Air hockey is yours.
Yes.
All right.
I'm literally just in New York, and I beat like the guy that was apparently the guy, and I squashed him. Mm-hmm.
All right, this is good to know. I'm going to write this down. Air hockey.
Yep.
So what's next for you after Hell Hath No Fury? So what's next for you that we can talk about?
Well, there is a Seize the Night, the movie, the goth movie from the 90s that's coming out. It's picked up. We don't have a date yet, but it's going to be very soon. I think within like next month, I'll have a release date.
Ooh,
and
fantastic.
It's like Requiem for a Dream meets Before Sunrise, where I play a goth singer, a true story. That I'm very excited about. It's going to be in streaming services. And then my book, Freya, coming out. I'm going to be making an announcement about that very soon. That's going to be available. A comic book with real life photos narrated by me with music.
That's fantastic. I hope that you're able to do more conventions, and I hope we're able to do more conventions together, but I hope you're able to go and do more conventions with that book, because I think that's a very, very cool thing to do. And it's obviously a great place to do it at.
Yeah, I'm really excited. I mean, we're gonna have hard books as well, like regular comic books and stuff. And we have a art opening in February here in LA, like a huge gallery opening with some of the photographs, comic book pages that you can buy. Yeah, it's a very exciting thing I started creating with some of my idols in that world during COVID. So that one I'm really excited about. And then I shot another thing that I can't talk. Like, it's so stupid. I can't talk about it. So I shot another thing that's coming out where that's super cool. And then this, I just shot it today. I worked on it today, and I'm shooting again tomorrow. And for a video game that I'm really excited about.
Man, like I said at the beginning, you are so busy. I just and you were working during COVID. So what was it like? So when you were filming Hell Hath No Fury, it was obviously during a lot of this downtime.
Mm-hmm.
So how was there testing every day? Did you have to stay within like a bubble? What was it like filming during, quarantine, during COVID, during this pandemic?
For me, it was a dream come true, because you stay in your little pod. You are not, I can't talk to the extras. I can't talk to anyone. I have my own private makeup person. And for a role like that, it allowed me to really, there's no distractions, because I film, I go home, I no text messages, no emails. So I could really immerse myself in the character. And there's no distractions. And, it's the same people I see every day. And, everyone were kind of method actors. So it was like doing a play. It felt like doing a play. And, because it was COVID, everyone was just so excited to be working. It just felt so special. And the crew was tiny because it's COVID. So, my makeup artist would be my scriptie. So, she'd be standing there with the script. So everyone had multiple parts, because you had to keep it so tiny. So it felt like I was doing a play, like I was back to making a student film or something, even though it's not a student film. But that, like for me, it's like the same with music. I love playing in 50, 100, even 500 people clubs, because I'm right there with the audience. And the same with this. I was like right there with the director, and then everyone was like right there, and everyone is doing 10 jobs, and everyone is helping, and you become a family that's just so tight. And it was really special.
Right. So it means more. It means
time, I think.
Yeah. So it seems like, even more of a reason why you want this movie. Obviously, you want every movie to succeed, especially, the ones that you're in. But a movie where everybody comes together like that. This is, again, Hell Hath No Fury, coming out November 5th, Friday, November 5th, streaming Tuesday, November 9th. Do you know, I didn't do my homework here, but do you know where it will be streaming at?
Everywhere except for Netflix. Amazon, iTunes, all of the streamers, but not Netflix.
All right.
Yeah. So it's a very special one. And if it does well, me and the director, I worked with the director before. We did Wonder Woman. When I first started, he cast me as his Wonder Woman. We did a short that went viral, that did very well for both of us. And then we tried to find a project to work on. And then, finally this came along. He had another actor, a famous European actor, but I beat her. So that's what happens. And if it does well, we have another one that we're dying to do, that he wrote right after we finished this movie. He wrote this script for me called Boudica. It's a historic character, a true story about a woman that led this Celtic people in the Roman times. And it's a true story. You know, you've maybe seen her. A lot of comic books are made about her because it's a true story. She has like long red hair. She had like the gold necklaces. She has like the green war paint art on her face. She has 2 daughters because when her husband died, the Romans raped her 2 young daughters. And that's when she found her power and she, you know, led the Great Britain for 30 years.
Right.
Yeah. So, and she was Nordic like me. So he wrote it insane script. And so if this does well, go see it. Then we'll do that one next, which would be, I would be the happiest girl in the world. I'll tell you that.
So do you like doing historical movies or movies based on historical figures?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Because then I get to live those times, you know?
So like period pieces then.
Oh, period pieces are my favorite.
Yeah?
I love escaping reality.
So, but do you find that having to do those period pieces or somebody based on a historical figure that you have guidelines that you have to stay within and you can't, you know, put some of your personality into these characters?
Well, I think like I use certain parts of my personality, like with Marie, the character in Hell Hath No Fury. You know, I was a ballerina from 4 to 18. You know, the Royal Danish Ballet. You know, the Bolshoi Theater and all that stuff. And I used because in the beginning, you know, they're like very, you know, they move different, they talk different, they sit different, they walk different. They, you know, it's like a whole different. It's just so fabulous back then, you know. So I got to use all of that training and that part of myself where normally I sit like a tomboy. I can't wear dresses because I can't figure out how to sit like a lady. You know what I mean? Like I'm giving everyone a show. You know, it's hard for me to wear dresses, and you know, so I get to use part of myself that I have, but I just don't really use it very much. You know, where I fell in love with ballet because it was so romantic and so. You know, like when I was 5 years old, I went to the ballet and I saw this guy in his tights and his muscles, and he was like holding this woman. I was like, at 4 years old, I was like, I knew that's what I wanted. I wanted to be held with one of those muscly guys with spandex pants. You know, I was already pretty dirty when I was 4.
Well, you got to hang out with. You got to hang out with a couple spandexy guys when you at FSCW.
I know. Maybe that's why I like you guys so much, because it's like my fantasy, my like little girl fantasy. I'm there with all you spandex guys, and I feel at home.
So how did that happen? How did you end up getting roped into hanging out and doing commentary at FSCW with us?
That was you guys. You guys were like the friendliest. First time at Comic-Con. Didn't even know what a Comic-Con was. I was completely overwhelmed. I was completely like, deer in headlights. And I just felt like, oh, come and do commentaries. And I was like, and you guys were just so awesome. And you just kind of took me under my arm and you just kind of like guided me. And then you're like, here, Sydney, now talk. And I was like, and then somehow I said things and I got sucked in and I had a blast, and then I had so much fun, and before you knew it, the show was over, and then I was like hooked. I was like, this is fun. I want to get in the ring. I want to do this.
Yeah, so if you could cosplay a wrestler in FSCW, if you could be a character, who would you, I mean, would it be Wonder Woman, or is there another character, is there another fandom that you like that you would be like, oh, I want to be this person?
There's just so many. I mean, you know, now I just did that comic book on Freya, you know. Freya is a Nordic god. I would love to play like some kind of Viking, like get in touch with my roots and, you know.
Maybe you can bring Freya to life.
Yes, drink beers and wear horns and tip you and flip you, lift you up in one arm and, you know, do
wearing horns and drinking beer, you would fit very well into the FSCW after parties. They will definitely be bringing you.
But I don't want to be. I want to be in the ring too, not just the after party.
Oh no! It's in the ring and then at the after party.
It's all the same. It's all yes. Okay, you can't do one without the other, right?
Of course,
of course, yeah. Because that's one thing that I learned. You guys know how to party. I mean,
they do.
Guys,
I'm not a partier. I never have been. I will hang out, but I don't.
Okay, your friends.
Yes, my friends know how to party.
Rock stars, like, yeah.
I'm mild and timid. They are insane.
They're pretty wild. I was like, how the hell do you get up? How do you get in the ring the next day like that? You just sweat it out.
You know that the thing that you were saying about like being in front of a crowd, that adrenaline, you know, and you know the crowd singing the lyrics back to you. It's very. So the reason I got into wrestling, the way I describe wrestling is like being a rock star for people who don't play music. So it is all about the adrenaline.
Yes.
It is, it's 100% about the adrenaline. So
that makes sense.
Yeah. So again, I have, at the conventions, I have very long days. I'm doing panels all day. I hosted your very first Q&A panel.
I know. I was so nervous. I mean, I didn't know anything. They're like, you're doing a panel. I was like, panel, but like, I didn't even know what a panel was. You know what I mean? I was like, so green. I was so green and completely overwhelmed. And I was like, what are all these people doing in these costumes? I'm so confused. What is this?
And you knocked it out of the park. You were great. You were great up there. I
have fun. Yeah, I felt, what you do, Milo, you make us feel at home.
That's what I try to do. My job is to make sure that the guests are as comfortable and as happy as possible. If they're happy, the crowd is going to be happy. Yeah. If the crowd is happy, again, the guests are happy. The guests are happy. The convention's happy. So
questions. You ask great questions.
I try. I'm a huge nerd myself. So I say that I'm a very lucky fanboy. Like I get to be up there with we got to share a stage with Roger Craig Smith, who is an amazing voice actor. And so just be
so humble
and humble and nice, and just being up there, I try to ask the questions again that I want to ask. I know that the audience has their own questions, and we will eventually get to those. But I have my questions too. I want to fanboy out as well, and I try to ask those questions that I want to ask as well. So it's a lot of fun. I consider myself super lucky, and I've made many good friends. Like you in particular. I'm super happy when I get to see you in person, but when we get to chat, online and stuff like that, whenever you're not busy, because again, you're so I don't get it. How do you even have time to sleep?
Well, you can see when we get old, right?
I'm there. But yeah, I just consider myself lucky, and I get to make all these friendships that younger me would have never even dreamed about. So again, I couldn't be more thankful to have you as to call you a friend, not just an associate, not just somebody who I see every once in a while, but to actually call you a friend. I couldn't be more thankful.
I feel the same. It's the people. At the end of the day, it's always the people.
Absolutely.
It's not the project. Like I never remember the project. I always remember the people. The characters I play, I have a relationship with, and the people. Yeah, that's what I take with me. Like from Comic-Cons, it's the people that I meet. More so.
Absolutely. All right. So before we wrap up, where can folks find you on the social medias if they aren't already following you?
Just my name, Nina Bergman. At Instagram is where I'm most active. And then, my website has everything, ninabergman.com, Twitter, Facebook, I mean, you name it. Everything is up there. Yeah.
Yeah. So again, very active on there. A lot of fun photos.
Yeah. Right now there's a poll: what dress to wear for my premiere on Wednesday. So go vote.
Yes. Well, this will be passed, but yeah, you do a lot of fun things like that all the time. But yes, again, thank you so much for hanging out with me and spending an hour with me today. I truly appreciate it.
Well, of course.
So anything left to say to the fans watching at home or wherever? They're probably like this watching
theaters. Watch it in theaters. It's an epic movie, shot beautifully. It's very epic, even though it's an indie movie. It's an epic experience, much better in the movie theater. And if you can't, get it at home, but don't watch it on your laptop.
Okay. Don't watch it on the laptop. No, what you have to, it's yes,
and do things to you.
So go to a theater this Friday, November 5th. If you're watching after November 5th, guess what? It's still in the theaters. Go watch it. Have a good time. Support this movie so that way we can get our second iteration from Nina that she desperately wants to do. Again, thank you so much for hanging out with me, and everyone, thank you for watching, and we'll see you next week. See you in 10 days, maybe. I don't know. Whenever you're watching this, my guest will be Luke Null, former Saturday Night Live cast member. We talk about a ton of things, including Saturday Night Live, Shane Hartline, and many more things. He's super funny. So thank you for watching, and we'll see you guys next week.
Yay.